Hey there, everybody. How's it going? Um, didn't upload yesterday. Kind of took the day off, took it a bit easy. So that may be influencing, how I feel about my performance today. In which I feel like I done really good today. I could feel the gains, so to say. Could feel the strength. Um, the weather was kind of odd today. It started out probably around 40 Fahrenheit. And, over the course of my workout, it probably went to about 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Um, I think that's, I'm a little fatigued to do the Fahrenheit to Celsius conversion, but I think we're talking somewhere around 5 Celsius to 10 degrees Celsius, um, somewhere in that area. It was still kind of a cool day, but I actually started sweating towards the end. You'll see me shed the beanie and switch to just the hood. But anyways, like I was saying, I could really feel the gains today. I could feel the strength progression, and like I was saying, that might have something to do. It might have felt a little better than it actually was. Where I was rested a bit longer than I had expected to. Um, we're not going to make excuses. We're going to appreciate all the gains we can get. I actually done a lot better on pretty much all the skills that I practiced today, and even my working sets. I could feel the progression. Um, so we're thankful for all that stuff, all the gains we can make, and everything felt good as well. Like I didn't feel any pain, I didn't feel any discomfort. Well, I guess I did on one thing, but it wasn't anything significant, and I think I just had something in a bind or something. But overall, it was a great workout. Um, Here, I'm just kind of taking my time, getting warmed up. But while I'm doing that, something I like to talk about today is rep quality versus rep quantity. There was someone that commented on my short, my last short that I uploaded, and we had a little conversation about rep quantity and rep quality, and a lot of people, even myself when I first got started, everyone likes to talk about the number of reps that they can hit on something, and even at I used to train at a public gym, and there was a guy there. I was having a conversation with one day. He saw me doing pull-ups, and we was having a conversation afterwards, and he was telling me he could hit over 20 pull-ups, and I said, "Oh, no way, man!" I said, "That's awesome." And the next time I saw him in there, he was hitting those pull-ups, and needless to say, we had two different definitions of what a pull-up is. The guy was nice. He was a nice guy. I don't want to say anything bad about him, but I don't even know if he was getting the top of his head up to the bar. Versus what I was doing. I was trying to get my chin over the bar. So a lot of people like to brag, or like that's really all they care about is the number of reps that they're hitting, and they don't ever stop to think about their rep quality and the amount of time that they're spending under tension. Like in my last highlight reel, I think I only hit around 6 reps with that weighted vest, and that was nowhere near my max. I at one point in time, like a couple of weeks ago, I could hit 2 sets of 12 with that. But that's not my goal. Is to hit 20 plus reps, 30 plus reps, or whatever. My goal is to use quite a bit of resistance and do reps slow with lots of control. And that's where true strength comes from, and that's where true progress in calisthenics comes from, is taking your reps slow, working on coordination, really focusing that rep quality. And it comes down to the end of the day, that you have to get past your ego and be honest with yourself about how many reps you can hit. Um, try to focus on that quality instead of the quantity. You hit 20 reps or 30 reps, but how good was the reps? Were they full reps or were they partial reps? That's just something to keep in mind. I like to start all my workouts with a really good warm-up. My handstands, my freestanding handstands felt a lot better today. You'll see me kick up into one there. This is just a warm-up handstand, and I felt a lot more balanced. I felt a lot less lazy. And like I had been saying in some of my vids, I've been kind of getting a bit lazy on my handstand technique. But anyways, here's the start of skill practice for today. Here is a front lever attempt. You see me getting the chalk out there. So when you see me get the chalk, I'm taking something serious. I tried a half lay front lever. We're going to go into straddle and then advanced tucked. And I hold the advanced tucked for just a sec. So on the next attempt, I finally got the band correct today. So I was able to try. You see me there. You don't put the band under your butt. Put it on your lower back. And I was actually able to hold a full front lever today with assistance. And I'm using the assistance here, but this is a great skill even with the assistance, because it's teaching my body what the human flag, not the human flag, it's teaching my body what the front lever should feel like. You can see there I'm pretty excited because I've been trying in the past few videos to use the bands to help me get the full front lever, and that's the first time I've succeeded. Here I'm trying some assisted human flag. I wanted to try, I sped this clip up because it was kind of just me flailing around. Did get just a little bit of time under tension, but the next clip that follows this and the clip after that are a lot better. You can really see the progress I've made on human flag in these clips here in a sec. So here's that first one. I felt very strong on this today. Felt like I'm actually, getting somewhere, like I'm making some progress. Here's my weak side, and I even felt the progress on this. This is a lot better compared to the last video. I'm excited, as I should be. It's always good when you can feel the progress you're making. Something else I want to talk about today, like I was saying, take things slow and controlled. That's another trick that'll really help you progress in calisthenics. A lot of times, especially tied with, fantasizing about a huge rep number, a lot of people, including myself, will, take shortcuts to hit that big rep number. And a lot of times what you really need to do is slow it down and work on your technique. And that really helps you build a good foundation on each skill, to work up from afterwards. Anyways, there's a full front lever. I just recently got to where I could do those. But I'll just give it one attempt, dust the cobwebs off, and we'll go on to the next thing. Figured I would try some dragon flags today. This is not something that I normally practice. I guess because I feel like I can do it, which I can, obviously. But it's something I think I'd like to get better at. Just take things slow, be honest with yourself, be humble, and try to really master whatever progression that you're working before you move to the next progression. Here's the working sets. I'm doing some leg raises on the rings, and what I'm really trying to focus on here is to really crunch at the top, really crunch my core together. You'll see my my legs get up a bit higher on some of the reps. You can really see my hips going up, especially here where I'm doing bent knee, which is a bit easier. But this requires a lot of shoulder stabilization on those rings in order to do that without, busting your bottom. Here's the second set of that. I train with the 2-set method. So here's that second set. I think I slowed this one down a little bit and focused more on the technique and getting some time under tension. I think this clip was kind of significantly longer than the last one. And I hit less full reps, but I hit the same total rep number. I just used the bent knee variation in order to complete the rep goal. So here we're going into some 45-degree flag. I call them dynamics today, and that's really what they are, because what I'm trying to do with this, and I really felt the progress in this, I'm trying to start at the bottom of the flag and consciously move my full body throughout this range of motion. This is working my obliques primarily, but obviously this is a full body exercise, and it's really working on me keeping my scapulas in the correct position. I'm really pulling hard with that top arm. I'm really pushing hard with the bottom arm. And, at the bottom, your hips will kind of turn towards the bottom arm, and as you go up, your hips will kind of turn towards the top arm. It's just how a human flag works. And I could really feel my progress in this. I felt a lot stronger, compared, to where I was at in, the past couple weeks, for example. But like I was saying, I'm not hitting 12 reps here, but remember that a rep number is not, the primary goal. What I am doing is I'm hitting slow and controlled reps. Everything's feeling good. I'm getting time under tension. This really emphasizes safety, which is great when you're doing something that puts so much strain on your joints. It's always great to prioritize your safety. But this really builds just incredible strength over time when you get where you can do something with so much control. It really emphasizes the functional strength aspect of calisthenics versus just a sheer, strength aspect of other methods of strength training. So here, I didn't really have a rest break after that last clip. I just kind of, moved my supply box, and I've been really wanting to try this. This is kind of like a tucked dragon flag, but I'm turning my hips to one side so that it focuses the obliques. And this is just something I had kind of been curious about trying, and I figured I would kind of bridge into it from that last 45-degree flag dynamic set you saw there. I went straight into it. There was probably less than 30 seconds rest on that one, but it felt very interesting, and I would be interested in implementing it in some way in future core training. Right here is a great example, these next two clips, of quantity versus quality. You'll see me hit 12 reps on this very easily. I knock them out, and then on the very last one, I think I hold for a few seconds. But I made this exercise look very easy in this clip. And in the clip that follows, I focus more on the quality of the reps instead of the quantity of the reps. And I get more time under tension. I get further in the range of motion. I have a lot more control. I could go on and on, but what's really important, guys and gals, is quality instead of quantity. So see, I'm getting up higher on that rep, I'm going slower, I have more control, I'm even pausing at the top for a second. And this is really taxing the muscles a lot more than that previous set, and I don't think I quite get to the 12 rep count on this one, but the quality of the reps were, night and day compared to that previous set. Yeah, I had to drop the ball there because the reps were getting too difficult. Yeah, you can hear me there. I was feeling the fatigue from that one, so quality over quantity. Here I'm just stretching out, a little bit of a pullover there. I think about the only time I work pullovers. That's a cool skill in itself, and it's fun to be able to do, but I think the only time I practice a pullover is when I'm stretching out. But as I've said before, if you're at a point in your training where you would be interested in doing muscle-ups, but you can't do muscle-ups yet, look into pullovers. It's honestly a cool skill, a good prerequisite to try and learn before you try to learn a muscle-up. It'll help build that foundation like I was talking about. But I'm just kind of shaking things out, kind of loosening up today. I forgot to mention it earlier when I was warming up, but I didn't really do any shadow boxing today because today was physical therapy day where I had knee surgery back in December. I had to do some shadow boxing today at physical therapy. So I didn't really want to do it again. My knee has already, been taxed for the day. So I was kind of wanting to take it easy on the knee. That was why I skipped the shadow boxing in this workout log, this workout video. But I'm just kind of shaking things out, just loosening up, because when you train your muscles, they like to tighten up. So it's always good when you finish strength training to kind of stretch out a little bit. Nothing serious, nothing that makes you want to say "ow" out loud is the key detail, but just a light stretch and kind of shake things out. I think we're at the end of today's video. Let me know if you have any questions or comments down below. And happy training, guys. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.